Good evening. Welcome to the Limerick Water District public hearing on a proposed rate increase. My name is Neil Meltzer. I'm the treasurer of the Limerick Water District, and I'll be facilitating and moderating this meeting. I'm going to give a brief presentation, and then if anyone in the audience has any questions, we'll do our best to answer them. Before I start the presentation, I guess I'd like to say that the Water District, every one of us fully understand that no one likes a rate increase. I don't like it for anything that I'm buying, and I know that no one else does. So I don't expect anyone to like the fact that there's an increase. What I hope is that by the end of the evening and the end of the presentation, you'll understand why, and not just why we think it's necessary, but how absolutely essential it is. Yeah, I'm trying to go to my next slide. Introductions. Can the board introduce themselves, please?
Tony Carroll, I'm chairman of the board.
Aaron Carroll, secretary of the board and operator.
Dean Lepage, trustee.
As I mentioned previously, my name is Neil Meltzer, and I'm the treasurer. Not with us tonight is our office manager, Gus Lippin. When a public utility like the Water District or CMP feels that it needs to increase its rates, they just can't do that. There's a process that has to be gone through, and that process is regulated by the Public Utilities Commission. And it's a pretty elaborate process. One of the things it requires is a regulatory notice, which is on the screen now, and this will be the only slide that I actually read. Notice that rate changes may be investigated by the Maine Public Utilities Commission. At the commencement of each hearing held pursuant to this section 35A MRS section 6104, the consumer-owned water utility, in this case the Water District, shall inform those present that the rate change may be investigated by the Commission in accordance with this section, and that petitions filed pursuant to section 6104 subsection 7 must bear the signatures and the printed names and addresses of the signers. Upon request, the district shall provide customers with petition forms that include space for signatures and the printed names and addresses of the signers. So as I mentioned, the rate process it's pretty substantial. There's a rate filing that the Water District has to put together, that has to be sent to the Maine Public Utilities Commission and the Maine Public Advocate. That was done on October 13th. Public notification needs to be made in a variety of ways. We posted it on the select board room. Each customer of the Water District received a mailed copy of the notice with an informational packet. And in addition, it was advertised in the shopping guide. And tonight is another part of that process, which is the public hearing. After tonight, the Water District will file the change rates with the Public Utilities Commission within 2 weeks, and the rates will be effective as of January 1st, 2025. The total increase is 30%, and that's across all classes: residential, commercial, and public fire protection. Basically, for an individual customer, or a typical residential customer, the rate's going to go up to $80.63 per quarter. And depending if you have a larger than a 5/8 inch line, the rates will be commensurate. So if you take your existing bill and you multiply it by 30%, that's what the increase will be. On the average customer, that's an increase of $18.61 per quarter, or 21 cents per day. Now, some folks might be thinking, well, geez, our rates are so high, we're higher than other districts around us, why does the water district, how can that be? Well, here's a comparison chart that shows how the new proposed rates for the Limerick Water District compare to the existing rates of neighboring communities. You can see that the Limerick Water District rate is $80.63. Cornish is $90.70 a quarter. Keezer Falls is $118.09 a quarter. Waterboro is 88 cents and 34 cents a quarter. And Alfred is $128.46 a quarter. So even with this 30% increase, our rates are still considerably below all of those of our surrounding communities. So our rates are really commensurate with what other communities are charging. They're actually much less. Again, as I said, no one likes to pay more. But this is why the rate increase is absolutely necessary. The Water District hasn't had a rate increase since 2019. Since that time, our operational expenses and maintaining our facilities and our infrastructure, those costs have increased significantly, even in addition to inflation, and we all know what that is about. In 2024, the new green sand filtration system was constructed and put into service. This has dramatically changed the quality of the water for the Limerick Water District users, you folks. While the water has always been safe, the water is now much better quality. And we were through a lot of hard work, mostly by the trustees. Funding for this critically needed project was 75% through grants and only 25% through a 30-year bond. So the district worked really, really hard to get the funding in place for this project. And the project wound up costing less than anticipated because of the hard work that the trustees put in and a little bit of luck, but mostly because of the hard work. Even without the annual bond payment that the Water District now is responsible for, the Water District has an annual operating budget deficit. I'm going to say that again. Even without the new green sand filtration system, the Water District has an annual operating budget deficit, which means that we're not able to invest in maintaining our equipment. We're not able to invest in improving equipment, which means that over a period of time, the water system will just degrade. Over the past few years, through support of the community, some grants, and some federal earmarks, we've made tremendous improvements to the infrastructure of the Water District. Main Street, Washington Street, Prospect Street, Maple Street, Westcott Street, the green sand filtration system. All these are improvements that were desperately needed, but needed some support. We got the support to put these in place, but now they also need to be able to be maintained, so you can continue to get the high-quality water that you all deserve. Here's a look at some of the financial information. So in our audited numbers for 2023, our operational revenue was $132,719. Our operational expenses were $142,942. In 2023, we had an operational deficit of $10,223. The Water District was able to continue operating by tapping into its fairly slim reserves. In 2024, the year we're in right now, we won't have the final results until we get the final audit, and that won't be until the spring. But we're projecting that our expenses will be $134,046. Our expenses will be $162,033, and we'll have an operational deficit of almost $28,000. That is why the increase is essential, absolutely necessary. Even with the increase, you can see that the Water District will still have, things will be still tight. With the increase, we're expecting our revenue to increase to $172,535. Operational expenses just under that, $172,056, with a profit, and finally, a positive number of $479. Tight, but going in the right direction. Again, this is why this increase is absolutely essential. Looking forward, the trustees have worked hard to continue planning on what else needs to happen to the Water District to continue to keep it not just operational, but to improve the quality. First on the list is the Deepvale project. You may have heard of that. That would replace a very aging and old water line that runs on Emery Corner Road to the main water lines. That is the last piece of old piping that separates the green sand filtration system from all the rest of the new piping that's put in. In addition to that, in conjunction with the sewer district, there'd be a replacement of some very old and very degraded sewer lines. There would also be a piece that goes up Central Avenue just about to the Dunkin' Donuts area. Looking further ahead, the Water District wants to make sure that we're able to ensure that the quality of water that we're getting from our wells is protected, not just now, but into the foreseeable future. We're looking at a variety of ways that we can have wellhead protection for our existing water sources on the Emery Corner Road and have a potential additional water source should that ever be needed. We're also looking at an electronic and online payment system. We had hoped to put that into action last year, or this year actually. Unfortunately, the work on the Hollandville project and then the Emery Corner project took all of our available time, and we weren't able to do that. We recognize that it would be very advantageous to you, our customers, to be able to have an online system, and our goal is to be able to get that in place sometime in the spring of 2025. When we think about the costs of running the system and making improvements and structures, so much of what we need to do has to come from funders, the state, the feds, whether it be Community Development Block Grant, whether it be the Maine Drinking Water Program, whether it be the federal EPA. In order for us to get the best terms when we take on those projects, get the most grants, and get the best interest rates on our funding, we need to provide economic data that speaks to the income level of the water customers. Right now, we don't have that information. So, in absence of that, census data is used, which we believe overstates the income level, the median family income level, and consequently, we're not able to get the best rates for our funding. That is why, a few months ago, we started working with RCAP Solutions, a consulting company from a nonprofit consulting company from Massachusetts, to do an income survey of the water district customers. This is a confidential survey. The water district will not see any of the results. They'll all go to RCAP Solutions, and all we will get will be a number that says this is the median family income of the water district customers. Surveys were sent out several months ago. Unfortunately, the return rate has only been 28%, which is really, really low and basically makes the survey not usable. A second round of surveys is being sent out, and you should be receiving it within a few days. Again, this is being done by RCAP Solutions, not the water district. The water district will not see any of the results. All we will see is what the final family median income is. So I would urge all the water district customers to please complete and send in the survey. If you want to do your part to help keep the rates as low as we possibly can, this is a way that you can do that. Thank you for your time, and thank you for being customers of the Limerick Water District.